What's going on, blessed alchemists? Welcome to Astrology. Today I am doing Pluto in the second house. Join me as I try and negate and interpret what this means in the second house. So let's get into it. So what happens when Pluto sits in this part of the chart? Well, basically two things really can happen. It all depends usually on how your Pluto is aspected and how beneficial and how powerful and prominent your Pluto is, and is it debilitated because of the sign it's sitting under. Just keep that in mind, because you could have a case where Pluto exalts especially if it's sitting underneath Scorpio, and to some extent, esoterically speaking, because Scorpio pulls from the polarity of Taurus, and Taurus is the ruler of the second house, you could definitely see Pluto having a role or a prominent role in the second house. But remember, the second house has its chart ruler or its actual ruler, which is Venus. So just keep that in mind, that when Pluto sits in here, you could have a case where you could become very rich if you're lucky, if you're working with this energy correctly and if it's aspected positively in your chart, because it's about obsession, because it's about the ability to transform things. You could transform your current monetary situation into whatever it is you want because you're obsessed enough to go at it. This becomes all-encompassing. Your creature comforts become all-encompassing. It becomes the main reason you do things in some cases, because that subtle suggestion of Pluto, which isn't as subtle as as some astrologers might say because of its distance from planet Earth, that subtle influence comes in and it whispers and it continuously tells you that you need to get this, you need to get this done, you need to have this with you. And so those are the kind of themes that play with Pluto in the second house. But at the same time, you can have a situation where maybe you have the monetary financial stability, you have the structure that you need, your creature comforts are all there. But because Pluto is all about death and transformation, Pluto might say, you know what, this doesn't suit you very well right now. We need to move you on. We need to make you feel challenged. We need to make you go through a part or stage in your life where you aren't as happy or comfortable, so that you can go into the process of truly working with yourself and finding what works for you. So in that sense, Pluto has that role. It kind of just knocks you into that scenario or into that situation, and you need to be careful of this, because whilst Pluto has a very similar role to Saturn, because Saturn's about limitation and it's also about resilience, and Saturn in actual fact is a sacred planet in the sense that it's about purification. It doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you need. But Saturn will usually do it in a way where you become very depressed in a specific area of your life and say, look, there's a problem in this area of your life, you need to sort it out, or else this problem's not going to go anywhere. And if you don't leave it, if you just keep leaving it and you don't work with it, which I will help you do if you're brave enough to work with it, then you will have a problem. And that's what Saturn does. But with Pluto, Pluto says, you know what, we're going into it. Screw all of this structure. Screw all of these superficial things. There's clearly something I need to teach you. There's clearly something you need to learn in order to develop and progress to a higher development of yourself. They're in fact serving humanity's ability to evolve past the current stagnation that we find in ourselves in, and helping humanity to reach the heights. Because you've evolved, you act as that node, you act as that representation. So you can be very, 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 very unsuccessful if you have this, and you can be very, very, very successful if you do have it. Because the fact is that, and again, if those roles don't really play in, maybe your Pluto isn't very prominent in your chart, maybe not what we refer to as Plutonian. But if it is prominent, if it's dominant, or if it's debilitated very badly in your chart, there could be issues that play out here in the sense of how and what you possess, what it is you need, and how much of it you need how much of it you need in reality. So just keep that in mind again, because the second house is, all in honesty, our point of comfort. It's also our point esoterically where we make sense of our surroundings and build up the securities that we need in order to function further. So if we do not have this function, if we do not have these necessities, if we do not have these resources, we cannot push on and we cannot truly express whatever it is we've come here or incarnated to express in the correct way, because we are debilitated in this area of our lives. Our stability isn't there. Our sustenance isn't there. The things we pull from, the energy that we need in order to persevere is not there. And so when Pluto is in here, you could have either the higher octave, you could have a transformative stage of success, or you could have a transformative stage of detriment, or a period where you need to grow and you need to develop and evolve into those areas. But always keep in mind that because Pluto is very fluid in its nature, because it rules over Scorpio, which is a water sign, the problem is that you might be successful now or you might be unsuccessful now, and a couple of years later you're very successful or you're very unsuccessful, you've lost a lot of money, you've gained a lot of money, you've got the creature comforts, you've lost the creature comforts, and so forth and so forth and so forth. So just keep that in mind when we're talking about Pluto. I don't know how many times I've told you to keep that in mind, and I'm being quite redundant here. So fellow alchemists, please don't forget to subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like down below. Drop a comment in the sections down below. Tell us what it's like to have Pluto in this part of your chart. Until next time, take good care of yourself. I'll see you then. Bye.